Hi, students. It's Professor Yadlin. We are halfway through the semester, and so I just wanted to take an opportunity to kind of talk to you about some of the observations that I've had so far this semester and give you some tips and tricks for the next half of the semester. So overall, a lot of you are making great progress, you're turning your things on a great schedule. Keep that good work up. Some of you are in need of a little bit more time management, and that is really the biggest tip that I can give you for the second half of Module 2 and the Module 3. Module 3 is only 5 chapters as opposed to 6, so you can do 1 chapter a week, and I encourage you to make sure you're staying on top of that. But I am pretty certain that your grades are corresponding to how much you are managing your time. So it's going to be really important for you to dedicate the amount of time that you need to this class, so approximately 7.5 hours per week. This is going to tie into how well you do on your primary source analyses. If you notice, I did make a couple of question changes on Module 2's primary source worksheets to help you connect to the reading and the time period a little bit better, give you a chance to do that more explicitly, because that's really the point of these primary source worksheets. You are looking at a primary source, which, so again, it's a document or it's an image. It could be a memo of some sort, but any sort of thing that is from the time period that we are talking about. You are looking at how does that primary source either explain or corroborate or exemplify what is happening in the time period. So making those connections back. Time management is also going to be important for this because detail is important. If you are answering 1 to 2 sentences on each of your questions for your primary source analysis, I guarantee you you're not going to get full points on that because you're not going to be giving enough detail and really demonstrating that you are understanding the connections between the document you picked and the time period that you're looking at. So giving yourself enough time to do that is going to be really important. And again, that's where the time management comes in. Note-taking will be important so that you can make those connections back. Thinking about maybe picking your document at the beginning of the chapter, looking through those documents first, and then deciding how you're going to answer those questions about that. Because quizzes are, of course, important. Exams are, of course, important. But the majority of the points in this class come from the writing assignments. They come from the journals and they come from the primary source analyses. And so thinking about how you are understanding each time period that we're looking at and how that's connecting back to our current time period and our current era. That's going to be really helpful for you to be detailed about because that's going to help you on your final assignment, your signature assignment at the end of the semester. You will have directions for that when Module 3 opens at the end of October. So you'll have time to start preparing for that, review that, and all of that good stuff. So in general, for those of you who are turning your work in consistently, especially a lot more consistently this module, because I know you've done some reflection on how you did first module. Excellent. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. You are doing great. For those of you who seem to still be behind or feel like you're struggling to get your time management together, please, of course, reach out. I have office hours in NCAB from 11:30 to 12:30 in 107 Cubicle Q. I also have an office over in APIN at the Ada County campus. If you send me an email with some dates and times and whether you'd like an in-person meeting or a virtual meeting over Zoom, I'm also happy to do that as well. But I am here to help. I am here to give you not only the feedback that you get each week, but talk to you through some of your assignments if needed, especially if you feel like you are not making the improvements that you want. So please don't hesitate to reach out because I'm here to help with that. That's all I got for you for now. Again, we are now 2 weeks away from the end of module 2. So making sure that you are getting those assignments in, you're not saving them for the last minute, that you are being conscientious in managing your time and getting those submitted and allowing yourself enough time to do the assignments at the quality that is needed. So again, don't hesitate to reach out. We are getting into some of my favorite time periods. My emphasis in grad school was the 1920s and 30s. Now it was British history, but there are some parallels. And we're also going to start getting into time periods that you're probably a little bit more familiar with. I recognize that the progressive era or the Gilded Age is not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. It is important, though, in thinking about how have we gotten to where we are. When we think about the strikes that are happening right now, think about the beginnings of the labor movements in the end of the 19th century. As we're looking at the different wars that the United States has gotten involved in within the last 10, 15 years, let's think about foreign policy. Taft's policy versus Roosevelt's policy. When we look at World War I and World War II, thinking about the differences between the US involvement in those. So all things that are really important for understanding why the United States is the way that it is today, whether you think that the United States is great or whether you think the United States needs some improvements. The way we are today is directly correlated to our history, which is why this is so important. So looking forward to getting your assignments over the next couple of weeks, looking forward to reading your analyses and reading your journal entries. And I wish you all a really successful second half of the semester.